friends.
Hi, guys.
We are back with you.
Or ladies.
Yeah.
Back with you with our matching hats and our...
Plaid looking old Canadian.
We are the Canadian girls.
Canadian
girls.
Let us know if you want us to ever sing you some songs as well.
Oh, speaking of that, this is our first time that we have some music. Probably not, like, all of a sudden I was like, is it still going? Probably not, like, exactly how, like, I don't know if this is the way most people would do it. I still don't know how to, like, include the music onto the video, but we at least have music going on our little Bluetooth.
To calm us down because we are kind of having some weird times.
Yeah, I'm actually feeling in quite an off mood today, so, yeah, it's a Sunday, we're recording this on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm feeling a little bit off, like a little bit depressed. I feel like we always kind of tell you how we're feeling, so hopefully you're okay with that. But I'm actually quite into this topic as well.
We are very excited to share this topic with you guys. Were you wanting to say the title?
Sure. Forgiving those who have hurt us. There you go.
That actually, okay, that was kind of the wrong thing for me to do in this instance. Like, acting like, or because maybe this always seems like a bit more of a harder topic.
But I guess you can still do it for that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We also have, another thing is, we also have our tea.
And Nicole actually got that mug. We just did a Christmas gift exchange with our youth group. And Nicole got that mug. She got my gift that I put in, and that's the mug I got. I mean, that's the mug I put in as a gift.
Yeah, so it was funny that I actually ended up getting Tashi's gift in the White Elephant gift exchange.
And you kind of like your mugs, I have to admit. So
I do really love it, and you're drinking out of my mug as well.
Oh, yeah. I do actually have to say Nicole has most of the cute mugs.
I think I got that one from you, though, too.
Yes, I'm so good at giving you mugs as gifts.
A mug shot.
And then remember, the coffee, the relationship status coffee. That's the mug that, like, we had like a little white elephant gift exchange, and then you wanted the mug, and I ended up with it.
Oh yes, so now I randomly like to drink with it.
Mm-hmm. That's like one of my only cute mugs I have anymore, which is kind of sad, but you know what? We will get through this.
We will. Anyway, should we chump right in?
Chump in the buggy.
Chump right into our topic here,
Chump
folks.
in the puggy with Jacob.
We could give her.
Am I doing okay?
I don't really
you
know.
You are actually getting a little inside scoop into into our personalities. I mean, I guess you have already. I cannot get started. So, I am gonna read. Okay, me and Nicole sometimes are really like, we're like, what topic should we have? And we have a few different ideas. And it's actually so hilarious that how it's been working out recently is we actually like choose our topic the day of, and it's almost like, it almost feels like God places it on our heart, because I had no idea I even wanted to do this topic until I read this devotional book, and like I was like, that is the topic for today. So it's kind of crazy that we choose our topic kind of last minute sometimes.
Yeah.
So this is a little devotional book that Dad actually keeps supplying me with. I think he gets it from like somehow I wonder if he like brings some of them into the prison up north or something, into the jail. And so I actually really like it. So Dad has started to get me and Nicole on each like every 3 months. So it's really cool. It's like a devotional book that you can get every 3 months, or it's like, this one's from September until November, and it's the word for you today. So if you want to look it up, I think you can like subscribe or like get them sent to you or something. So it has like a devotional for each day.
I really like them. Like, I feel like they seem like just really, or where does it say that they're kind of supposed to be like uplifting or something, or like give you hope? Like, I feel like they're really, yeah. So it like seems like a really encouraging little devotional, would you call it? Or like a little word for the day. So I actually really like it.
Me too. So here it is. For Sunday, November 26th, sometimes forgiving requires focus and energy. I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. Philippians 3:13. So there's normally a verse for each day. Forgiving someone who has hurt you deeply is one of the most difficult things you will ever be asked to do. You know you must forgive, for nursing a grudge is like nursing a baby. Anything you feed and nurture will continue to grow, but that doesn't make forgiving easy. Try to understand this. Forgiveness, why is this music just a little bit loud? Oh, where was I? Forgiveness is a decision, not an emotion. If you wait until you feel like forgiving, you risk remaining trapped in the torture of resentment. When Peter asked Jesus how often he should forgive someone who had offended him, Jesus replied, 70 times 7. Wait, why did I forget that was in here? Because that was one of the verses I was thinking of reading at some point. In other words, forgive and keep on forgiving until you get beyond it. But note 4 things. Forgiveness doesn't mean you must resume a relationship with the offender, especially if they are unrepentant and refuse to change their behavior. So that's number 1. Number 2, it doesn't mean condoning what they did or agreeing with them. Number 3, it doesn't let them off the hook. It lets you off the hook and enables you to get on with your life. Number 4, it doesn't mean you won't be able to remember it, but that you will have the power to think about it differently, graciously rather than resentfully. And one more thought. Don't let Satan convince you that you haven't forgiven just because you still remember. The ability to forgive is a learned behavior. The more you practice it, the better you will get at it. It happens when you look for ways to extend understanding to your offender and find something to be compassionate about. That is powerful, friends.
That is fire.
Like, especially that last part, it's like, oh my goodness, how can you, like, it's sometimes like, how in the world can you find ways to extend understanding and be like compassionate towards them or whatever? Like
that's the last thing you want to do when someone hurts you.
I know. No, totally. And so it seriously seems like so, I just feel like it is like the opposite of like our human nature and the opposite of what we want to do. And like it feels like our flesh would just rather like can just like live like without forgiving people and like live with like the resentment and bitterness instead of actually forgiving. And I think sometimes Satan makes us believe the lie. I wonder if it could be a lie that Satan sometimes makes us believe, or just like kind of our human nature, that we think that not forgiving someone almost is like getting back at them the way they hurt us. So it's like I'm like, one way I'm gonna get back at you, that the way you hurt me, is that I'm not gonna forgive you. I'm like never gonna, like it's almost like I'm never gonna forgive you. And then it's like we don't realize how heavy unforgiveness just like really weighs on our hearts, and it just really weighs us down. It brings bitterness, resentment, and just like these different negative emotions. And like it's just crazy. I feel like I've heard that like unforgiveness can actually cause like physical symptoms, and it can really like what's the word, like almost like wreak havoc on even on your spiritual life. Because it's just like, if you're not forgiving, then you're also not realizing how forgiven you are by God. Because if you realize how forgiven you are by God, then you will realize and be able to comprehend that like that you almost can't help from forgiving other people who have hurt you, because we all are sinners. We all do wrong. And it's like if we don't realize the extent of God's forgiveness for us, then it feels like it'll be really hard to like forgive other people.
Yeah. No, totally. That is so good. Oh my word. I feel like everything you said is literally so good. And I love this little word for us today about forgiveness. And I was wanting to talk about this one thing that really stood out to me is the sentence here. Try to understand this. Forgiveness is a decision, not an emotion. Because it feels like that's so true. Like if you wait, like I think randomly in the past I wonder if I thought, oh, like forgiving someone is more like you'll feel it, like an emotion. But recently I've been realizing, and I think I've been hearing it like other places too, that it is a choice. Like you have, even if you don't necessarily feel forgiveness, it is a choice to say that you do forgive. And also another thing I wanted to bring up is that forgiveness isn't just a one-time thing and then it's then it's all of a sudden over. Like it's gonna happen. I think how it normally works is that forgiveness isn't just like this, like just like this easy one-time thing. Like I forgive that person and then there's nothing. Like I think it takes time. There's different levels of forgiveness, and you might first of all like start to forgive, and then all of a sudden something comes up where you still feel like anger or like resentment towards them, and then you have to forgive again, and you have to keep forgiving. Because what did in the Bible, or the verse about you have to forgive 70, Jesus said you have to forgive 70 times 7. So that another thing is, even if the person keeps hurting you, then you have to keep choosing to forgive them. But like that, literally, it's easy to say, but it's way harder to actually do.
Yeah, no, totally.
Because the least thing you want to do when someone hurts you is to forgive them. But like, that's why it is really like what you were saying, like it's so important to forgive them. Because another thing I was wanting to bring up about this is that it's not about giving that, letting them off the hook, because sometimes it's like, well, I don't want to forgive them because I want to get back at them. But the thing is, it's for you, like it's for you to feel kind of that like release, because with you holding on to bitterness and resentment is making you miserable, and it's making you what's the word I'm thinking, like it's just like not, it's not good for you. Like it's making you feel miserable. It's making you feel, it makes you feel, it's like keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
And you want to have the freedom. Once you forgive, it's such a freeing like experience for you. Like
it's almost like unforgiveness keeps you stuck in the past.
Yeah.
Rather than forgiveness allows you to move into your future.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. That is actually so true.
But I almost feel like I cut you off. Were you finishing something?
No, I actually think I almost couldn't quite find the words, but I think that you actually kind of helped me finish the sentence I was thinking. So, yeah. If anything, I think I actually don't even know if there's anything else I was going to say.
Yeah, well, I think even kind of like, I don't know, almost building on that, like it almost seems like, I'm trying to think, like I sometimes feel like in the church, or like us as Christians, sometimes it's like easy. I feel like there's also the level of like, that you need to have time to like process and forgive. Because also I feel like I've heard the other extreme that like just forgive and forget. Like it's not a big deal, just like forgive and forget. But I don't feel like forgiveness is actually like fully like that. Like I actually feel like forgiveness is a process, and like maybe you're on a process of forgiving. Like maybe you say I choose to forgive, but you don't really feel it deep in your heart. And I think the more you choose to forgive, the more you're gonna feel it deep in your heart. But like, I don't like the other end of it where it's just like forgive and forget. Just like you're making it like almost like some people can make it sound like you're making it such a big deal. Just forgive, and it's like, okay, there are some times like where people really hurt you. Like it feels like people in this life, like, we're gonna be hurt by people, we're gonna have lots of pain, and there's some things that do just like take time to forgive. And like, I think you also need you need um you need time to forgive. You can't just like say like, yep, I've forgiven, and like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm having a hard time wording this, but I feel like there's that balance of just like, I don't like the one end of the spectrum, just like forgive and forget or whatever, and just like you need to forgive really quickly, like you're making it a big deal. But then I also don't like the other side of the spectrum where it's like you hold on to bitterness, you hold on to resentment, you just like, you're prolonging the forgiveness. I feel like there's that like, it feels like God has that like in between for us, where it's like the balance of like taking time to process the hurt, taking time to process the pain, taking time to process the feelings we feel, like the negative emotions, bringing it all to God. And sometimes I actually believe we need to call on like God's divine forgiveness, because sometimes we as humans just like might not even have the capability to forgive something if it's like really big and like almost just like beyond our capability or capacity or whatever of forgiving. That sometimes I think we actually do need to call on God's divine forgiveness, and it feels like God will like help us forgive.
Oh my word, that is so good. I don't know if I've really like heard that too much before about like calling on God's divine forgiveness. But
Well, I feel like I wonder if I was almost reading, or I wonder if there's like, I wonder if I was reading it somewhere. I wonder if there's like someone I follow on Instagram or something, or I wonder if it was even, yeah, I forget what it was. Like, unless it's like Lisa TerKeurst or something.
yeah, okay, I really like that though, and like I think that's so true, because it feels like some things might be like just like, yeah, like so big that it's like, how do you forgive? And I think in any instance it's like you need God to give you the strength and to give you the willpower to choose to forgive. So like I think in any instance, but like probably certain instances, if it's like a really like big thing, then they especially need God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in some ways, to clarify, it seems like probably anytime you forgive, like you want to like ask God to help you forgive. But I think there's just like instances that just like probably call for God more, or just like call for his like grace and his like power and stuff more than others or something. And just like give yourself time. Like it just feels like stuff takes time, and just like if there's like someone you're trying to forgive, if there's just like maybe there's someone you're trying to forgive, and maybe there's also like something you're trying to forgive. Like maybe you're trying to forgive like some church as a whole, or maybe you're trying to forgive like a group of people, or just like whatever that is that you're trying to forgive. Just like bring it to God, and just, I think, do like take the time you need. Like, don't prolong the forgiveness, but just really like process the forgiveness and like really feel it. Feel the pain and feel the hurt and feel just the different feelings deep in your heart, because I don't know if you're ever going to get to a place of like completely forgiving if you don't really feel those hard emotions. Yeah. And I think I've heard before the level, how does it work again? When I was like taking like a counseling training course, my one like lab leader kind of had a little like illustration, and I kind of forget what it was, but I kind of feel like he drew two hearts, and like, I wish I could like, should I quick draw it out here?
Sure.
I think he drew two hearts, and then like he was saying that like, so there's two hearts.
If you can see it.
And then I think he was saying the level of forgiveness you feel for someone. My foot's like right in front of the camera. The level of love you're gonna be able to feel for them. So like if you feel like, if you just have no forgiveness for someone, I think it's going to be really hard to feel love towards them. But I think the level of like, the level you're able to continue to forgive like someone who's hurt you, the level you're going to be able to feel that love for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually feel like I've really, so like I should just like draw a line here kind of, so like if you feel like kind of like that, like it's like the level of like love the level of forgiveness you feel is the level of love you're going to feel. So like maybe you're just like halfway worked through it or something.
Yeah. Okay, that is really good.
And then I feel like I was going somewhere with that. What I was gonna say is that I actually feel like it's crazy. I forget if I've talked about this on like a YouTube video before, or if I just talked with like you about it or something. But or maybe just some of my friends or something. It's crazy that I've actually experienced it firsthand. Just like, there's times when I like choose to forgive someone, but I don't feel it like deep in my heart. But I feel like there's just like different experiences of like people who have hurt me in the past, where it's like, the more I feel like forgiveness, and I feel like it's like definitely God. Like it's God working through me. Like I would not be able to forgive these people on my own, but just like the level I've been able to feel forgiveness for them, I just like feel such a depth of love for them that it's like, this has to be God. Like it is like, it's like so crazy, because how can I feel love for this person who has hurt me so much? And it's like, it's God's love.
No, that is totally true. And like kind of as you're saying this, I'm thinking it is crazy. Like I think that's so good about like, the more you forgive, the more love you'll feel. And I think, have I also heard that maybe with people who have hurt you, or with people that you just like don't necessarily like get along with or like, that like to help you is to, or one thing you can do is to start praying about them. And then somehow I think I've heard that can even maybe like help you like to like see their perspective more, and to like maybe help you love them better if you have a hard time like getting along with them or something. And I feel like this can kind of even go a little bit with like forgiveness. Even praying for the person, I think might kind of help you like maybe like even put yourself a bit into their shoes and see like, would out of their brokenness, out of their pain, they hurt you. But often it seems like when people do hurt you, like some of it is with like malicious intent, if that's how you say it. But like sometimes I think just because we're hurt people, so we hurt people. Like
hurt people.
Yeah, like I'm kind of thinking that, is that like a quote or something? Yeah, so like it's not out of someone else's pain they hurt you, but to just like start like praying for them, and to like, I think can really help you like maybe put yourself a bit into their shoes and from their perspective a little bit.
Yeah. And like as you're talking, so much stuff is coming to my mind that I almost forgot about. Like also it seems like in the counseling training course that I was talking about, so like I'm just like drawing a cross here. So like sometimes you need to forgive this, I don't even know how to do this. Like sometimes you need to forgive like on each, I've seen it before, the illustration of like on each side of the cross, you need to forgive the sins that others have committed against you. And you also need to forgive the sins you've committed against others. Either forgive yourself, but also ask for their forgiveness. Like, if there's people that you need to ask them to forgive you, the sins you've committed against others, I think you need to forgive, you need to forgive yourself for those, but also maybe you need to ask for their forgiveness. Like, actually go talk with them.
For ways that you've hurt them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think if I said that right, but just kind of like I've just like seen kind of an illustration of like, kind of like a cross, and then like on each side of the cross, it's like the sins you've committed and then the sins others have committed against you.
Yeah. No, I wonder if I feel like I took Core 1 and Lab 1 and like Core to Lab 2 kind of long ago, but I wonder if I almost remember that from maybe there too.
Mm-hmm.
But
like
I kind of forget.
The counseling training course that we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder if it was in there.
Mm-hmm. That is really good though.
Mm-hmm. Did you have anything else you were wanting to share?
I'm trying to think, like, I don't even know if I can even think of anything else. Was there anything else you were wanting to bring up?
I think I was just, maybe the last thing, like, we kind of read, like, this verse a little bit in the devotional, but maybe I could just read, like, the verse where Jesus talks about, like, forgiving or whatever. So Matthew 18, 21 and 22. Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times? Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 70 times. Wait, isn't it 70 times 7? Or is it just 70 times?
I thought it was 70 times 7.
But 77. Oh no, it says 77 times.
Well, here in this version it says 70 times 7.
70 times, but 77 times. I'm so confused. Whatever this Bible is saying, but I think it's 70 times 7.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like that is just crazy, like, thinking about it like that. Because, like, I think us as humans are like, this person, like, cannot continue to, like, because I think some people, like, they find healing and they find, like, I'm trying to think. It feels like there are some people who might find healing from their own wounds or whatever, where they're at the place where, like, where they don't continue to keep hurting you in the same way that they did.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also feel like there's, like, times when maybe people will continue to keep hurting you the same way, and it's not like you can control that. So it's just crazy to think, because I think us as humans were like, it does not make any sense for me to have to keep forgiving, like, if this person keeps hurting me. But it's so crazy reading that in the Bible, that God wants us to continue to forgive. And that's why, I don't know, that's why just, like, the Christian life isn't always easy, but I feel like it's so rewarding, and it can be so beautiful, and it can be so, it can be so special, I think, just, like, the relationship you can have with God, and just, like, it's just so, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just, like, really, it's really worth it, and it's really rewarding.
Yeah, no, totally. And, like, I really like that verse, or I guess it was kind of read in the devotional and that you read in the Bible, about, like, forgiving 70 times 7. And the other thing I was wanting to bring up is in the devotional it says, forgiveness doesn't mean you necessarily need to resume the relationship with someone if they, like, are unrepentant and, like, keep hurting you. Or, like, I think it depends on the circumstance, because, yeah, but if it is, like, just, like, a really bad situation, you might just have to forgive them, but then not really, like, not really have, like, a close relationship with them, because you don't want those same, like, wounds to keep happening over and over again. But, like, yeah, I guess that would be something you would, or that was just something interesting I was thinking about.
Yeah.
But then, I wonder if it just depends on the situation, because then also it's like, Jesus is saying, even if they keep hurting you, keep forgiving them. But, like, it probably just, like, is really, like, whatever situation you're in, like, just really discern it, and, like, also, like, talk to other, like, good, like, mentors and people to, like, figure out what you should do in, like, this certain instance.
Yeah. No, totally. And this kind of can have to do with, like, boundaries, too. I think that, like, it can almost relate to boundaries. And it seems like there's definitely a place if there's just, like, a really, like, toxic person in your life where it's just, like, it doesn't seem like you need it doesn't seem like, sometimes it's easy to think, well, the loving behavior is to just like, or the loving
Thing to do.
thing to do is to just keep allowing them like in your life and stuff. But sometimes maybe the loving thing to do is actually to just like put up that boundary that like you can't have them in your life, like at least at this like point.
Yeah, and maybe it's like this thing that like just like that for this certain time you can't because you need to have space from them, but like maybe later on you'll be okay with seeing them some or something. But yeah, like just kind of figuring out like that whole balance, I guess.
Yeah, and it feels like there are really good people like out there that you can talk with and like even just like pray about on your own to God and stuff, and just really discern like what decision you need to make, like if you have some of those people in your life.
Yeah. Anyways, is there anything else you were wanting to say, or should we even wrap it up with that?
Yeah, no, I'm good with that.
Do I pray this time?
I am actually getting very confused, but is it almost my turn to pray, I think?
Oh, maybe it is. Can
We
we
kind of
normally take turns, so we're a little forgetful this time?
Yeah, we will just go with me praying, I guess.
Let's go with that.
Dear God, I just want to come before you right now, Jesus. I just thank you so much for who you are, Lord. I thank you so much for who you created me and Nicole to be, and also who you created each person listening to be, God. I just thank you for this beautiful day, even though it's cloudy, God, that you are here in the clouds and you are here in the dreariness, as well as the sunny days, God. So I just thank you so much for that, and I just pray that we can find beauty in the mundane and the chaos and the pain, that we can just find beauty and that we can find you, Jesus. So I just really pray over the audience listening. I just really pray that you would just really be close to their hearts, that you would speak to them, God, that you would give them discernment and wisdom and guidance and direction about forgiving those who have hurt them, and also about maybe some boundaries they might need to set up with people in their life, Jesus. I just really pray that they would call on your divine forgiveness. If they are having a really hard time forgiving, God, that they would just really call on your divine forgiveness. That it's just so amazing how you can come in and just really help us forgive someone when we just really feel like we can't do it on our own, and you really help us with that, God, and you just allow us to feel love towards them when it just doesn't make any sense with the way they have hurt each one of us, Jesus. So I just thank you so much for who you are. I thank you so much for being such an awesome God, for being such a powerful God, and also for being such a forgiving God, that you just forgive us for each sin we commit against others, Jesus. So I just thank you so much for that. Pray that you'll give each of us a really good evening yet tonight. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.